All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the White Sands Self Care Community. I am your host and resource for self care, Laura Cross, and I have with me today the beautiful Carmen Theobald from Canada. Hopefully, you're not freezing, but she is the founder of Horse Sense North. So, Carmen, I want to thank you for joining us, and I just kind of wanted to share a little bit because you have a wonderful episode coming up on Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross. We gallop towards wellness, and she's going to give you some of her horse sense wisdom. So maybe you can tell everybody a little bit just how the horses helped you, or how you got connected with the horse. How did you get started with the horses?
For sure. Thanks for having me, Laura. And I'm just thrilled to be connected with your beautiful community. Um, and I feel like it's really kind of synchronous that we're connected because wellness and self-care is really my jam when it comes to anything in life, because I think it really helps us move forward, whether it's personally, professionally, not just to be more productive and effective and all those kind of very, stuck in a box ways of thinking, but just to become more whole and feel more alive and have the options and the doors open to do whatever it is that we are meant to do with this life. And for me, horses are such incredible um, teachers for us of how to be better humans. And they really invite us to step into our wholeness, step into the fullness of who we are, all the parts of us, and giving us a really different approach to relationship, to self care, to what it means to be walking in these shoes of being alive on this planet. And I think that the horses really invite us into their world, which is really a space of deep authenticity, connection, non-judgment, but also where they invite us to step into our power in healthy ways, where they really don't want us to be, you know, putting ourselves down or making ourselves small. They want us to be fully who we are with them. That helps them feel safer, that helps them feel more connected. And I really believe the same is true with us as humans. So, my path to get to this work, where I have a farm in Ontario, Canada, as you mentioned, it's been a winding path. I go into more of that journey in our show together. Um, but I just feel super grateful that I've come across these horses and I've worked with thousands of horses in a variety of ways. And they've all just helped me and so many others. And it's such a joy to be able to talk about them.
Yeah, and I do admire your courage. You'll find out when you watch the episode, but she really survived quite a tragic event, and to come across these horses and to have just the change and what it's brought forward in your life is just amazing. And the fact that you can use that to help others is incredible. I've met some other Gestalt coaches, which is something I learned about maybe 3 years ago. Did not even know that existed. But if you think about it, it makes sense. I mean, I've always been a dog person, and if I need that happy space, the no judgment, because it's unconditional love, I always go to the dogs. And I understand horses have a kind of a vibration sense, so they kind of seek you out. But I think some people may get kind of intimidated just because they are very large animals.
Yeah, all of that is true. All of that is true. I think the horses are really gifted at leaning into that space of multiple things being true at once, where they can have the biggest hearts, and they have huge hearts, by the way. Their heart is 7 to 10 times the size of ours.
Wow.
That creates much bigger electromagnetic resonance that creates them really tapping into a lot of that heart wisdom, all of these different aspects of it, where and at the same time, they're very powerful, strong beings. And sometimes I think in our human world, we can think that we can either be heart led or we can be, powerful. But actually, we need to be both at the same time. And that can really help to moderate a lot of the challenges that can come up if we're too strong on one side or the other. So, yeah, it's understandable if people feel intimidated by them. And I'll say sometimes for good reason, because horses are very large and they've been through their own difficult life experiences. So if they're not in a context that they've really been supported to do this kind of work, where they are, in a safe context where they feel very seen, heard, respected themselves, then the work can get a little bit risky sometimes. So it's important that if anyone is kind of considering horse work for wellness, whatever that might look like, because there's lots of different branches and varieties. Just like there's lots of different kinds of therapy, there's lots of
Yep.
different kinds of horse work. What we offer, we do everything pretty much at liberty, where the horse has their full voice and choice in the experience. And because they feel very safe and seen themselves, they can express themselves in safe ways with us as humans. So we can have really a dialogue, a mutually respectful relationship being built, and it's amazing to see what can happen when we also start to apply some of that inwardly. Because I think, to me at least, that's a lot of what wellness and self-care is. It's what's that relationship like with ourselves. And I think so often we can be incredibly unkind inwardly,
Yeah.
and the horses help us learn really what's happening in the moment and invite us to take up a little bit of a different space.
Yeah, it's really amazing what they can do. Maybe, and like I said, I know we go into a lot more detail in your episode coming up on Monday, but maybe you can give everybody a little bit of some ideas of maybe some of the clients and some of the people that you've helped or who it's been able to help.
100%. So I won't go into the story because, again, we go into it in greater detail, like you said, but I will say that I am alive today because of first responders. And one of the greatest joys in my path in this work, as we've developed Horse Sense North, has been to serve public safety personnel. So, working with first responders, military, people in that community. And so, we do a lot of work with them for trauma recovery, for overall wellness. We have a program dedicated specifically to them. And it's truly amazing to see the deep transformations that happen, especially for people who really believe they don't have any other option. They've tried all kinds of other therapy, they've tried all kinds of other things. They're feeling super stuck in where they're at. And very often that's in a really hard, dark place.
Mhm.
And the horses create the shifts that are needed to be made. And so that's a huge passion for me. We also do a lot of leadership development, personal growth, that kind of thing. I work with many organizations and teams offering some horse sense, if you will. So there's like leadership frameworks that we use that are horse inspired, and then it's actually embodied with the horses at the farm for those who are able and willing to do that. So we have quite a variety of people we work with from all walks of life. We also do some online stuff. But all of it has that theme of horse sense, and really for people to help them get unstuck from wherever they are, whether that's something huge, whether it's
Mhm.
something minor, whether they're not really sure. Maybe they don't even really feel that stuck, but they just kind of feel like something's missing. Then I think this work can really speak to them.
Yeah. And if you've ever seen her ad, you can see how beautiful the ranch is. So I'm assuming some people that really want to connect and go out there with you, you hold retreats for them or
We do. Yeah,
workshops.
totally. Yeah. So we have probably the majority, well, more than half of the work we do is privately booked. So whether that's an organization or team booking with us, or someone who's an individual, maybe they have a friend or a family member they want to come either for an intensive all for themselves or with a group that they already know. So that's the majority of what we do. We do have some occasional public offerings where people can sign up to do a multi-day experience, and come experience some of that horse wisdom, and, as you say in your title, gallop toward wellness
Yep.
themselves. It makes me chuckle because it's a little bit of cheesy factor, but it's also so true. It really is so true. And I think that when we allow ourselves to lean into that horsepower for the good of the herd, the herd might be our
Hmm.
community, might be our team, might be our family. The herd can be ourselves, right? We have many parts that make up who we are. And when we can really show up in a healthy, powerful way with heart for ourselves, a lot of things can change.
Yeah. And I loved kind of the horse sense wisdom because a lot of us have lost our common sense. Most people have common sense. Some people have lost it. I'm like, yeah, horse sense, let's look at this a
Exactly.
different way. But yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on the show and stuff. And I hope you all tune in because the courage it took for her to share her story. And if you knew what she went through and the way she is now, it's just like night and day difference. and the work that she does to give back to the first responders is just amazing. So, Carmen, before we go, can you tell everybody a little bit about what's the best way to connect with you? I know you do some posts on the group, but what's a good way for them to connect and follow with you?
For sure. So thank you for asking. To learn more about what we do, you can check out our website, horsesensenorth.com, HORSESENSENORTH.com. And then you can find us at Horse Sense North on all the platforms, whether it's, well, maybe not all, but a lot of them. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, we're there as well. If you're looking for me on LinkedIn, it's Carmen Theobald dash Horse Sense North. So I don't really care how people reach out, whether it's through the website, through social media, by email, by phone. The point is, if this work resonates with you, just reach out and I'd be really happy to connect.
Yeah. And she, as you can tell, I'm sure she's such a beautiful soul and easy to talk to. And it's one thing we love to do is to provide different perspectives and resources to help others get to a better, healthier living or a better state of mind, whatever it is that you need. So I really admire the work that you do. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing that with everybody today.
Oh, it's such a pleasure, Laura. And I really admire and appreciate the work you do as well. We just need more of this in the world. Our world is so fractured. And when we commit to showing up in a healthy, well way for ourselves, we really give that, it ripples out to everywhere and everyone. And I deeply appreciate that.
Yeah, I've found a lot of people think that there's not that many of us out there, but there's more out there than you think. So I'm hoping by creating these platforms, we bring more of us together because I truly believe we can do more together, than trying to struggle on our own.
Absolutely.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us. I hope you reach out to Carmen. She's a wonderful soul to speak with. And everybody, I want you to enjoy your weekend. Some people I know have snow. I know Colorado just got hit with about 12 inches of snow. We do not, but whatever you do something to enjoy for yourself and enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next time.